Coach Blundo is nothing shy of an incredible human being. Kim Claditis, I'm the junior senior high building principal. I think what Coach Blundo has cultivated and fostered in his program goes back to his deep commitment to what he is doing in this profession.
Ralph Blundo, head basketball coach, Newcastle. I've been a head coach here for 16 years. Newcastle basketball means everything to me. It always has. The 1982 team kind of sparked an interest. They won a championship, they were underdogs, they overachieved. I was 9 years old at the time, watching the community get behind them. It sparked something in me, and Newcastle football was outstanding at the time, and that was also part of my upbringing, and kind of watching all of that and the way our community follows it, and the connection between the two, athletics here and our community, and the way they just fit together so perfectly has always been something I'm proud of, proud to be a part of. We live in a community that has struggled economically. The winters are long, and I think we feel responsible for helping our community through those winters by putting a product on the floor each and every night that they can be proud of.
My name is Fred Mazzacco, Athletic Director, Newcastle Area School District. One time here at Newcastle, administrators were not allowed to be head coaches. I just happened to be on the school board at that time with that policy in place, and we were going through a coaching change here at Newcastle, and Mr. Blundo's name was coming up. We felt it was very important at the time that we got the right candidate for the job. Mr. Blundo, he was already an administrator in the district with extensive basketball career himself and coaching career. At one of our meetings, we sat down with the superintendent at the time and just discussed how we could change the policy to hire Mr. Blundo, because we felt that it was best for our kids.
Over the course of the several decades, we've seen a large change in the city of Newcastle, and in some regards, a little bit of a decline. With the steel mills closing, that drove a lot of people out. The school's still here, and the athletic programs with the caliber of athletes that we put through are different in some ways, but the success of the programs are still there, which is really an incredible feat for us, considering all the different changes that have happened in Western Pennsylvania over the past several decades.
Yeah, it's huge here. The support that we get from the community, and when you say the old timers, they're at every game.
I think it's because of the deep pride that they have in the city. A lot of the individuals of that generation were born here, they went to school here, they worked here, they raised their family here.
A lot of them have played here, sports at Newcastle, and have walked these halls. And, it's very important to them to keep that tradition going, and they want to support these young men as much as they can.
And even though their children may have moved on to different regions of the country, they still have that pride. Many of them played here. They're Hall of Famers. Their names are in the showcase down at the field house. And I just think they like to see what is still going on, whether it's the sport that they've played or somewhere in that umbrella. They just like to see the tradition carrying on. It makes my heart smile. They stop at the concession stand, they get their box of popcorn, they're popping their candy bar, and they go sit down and they enjoy the game. And you could see the pride on their faces when they're watching the games.
There's a lot of pride in tradition here, and Coach Blundo obviously has done a great job to continue to carry on that tradition and bring home WPIAL championships.
That was a maybe once in a lifetime group of kids. Getting them as 9th and 10th graders with elite competitive spirit and elite togetherness and elite work ethic. They set the tone for the next 11 years. They did that because they did it right, and they did it right from the jump. There were certain things, of course, we demanded, and they were hard. They had the character and the toughness and the work ethic to do it every day. And then to watch them do it right, and to watch it end the way it did at 31-0 in front of 8,000 people in Hershey, and to win a state championship as the smallest public school in all of 4A, and to beat the big private schools out of Philly, to do it, they were special. I think it brought our community together, and I think it set a standard for a lot of kids to follow in terms of their on-court and off-the-court success. Yeah, Coach Ralphie was awesome. He was 3 years old when I got the job, so he was here from the beginning, you know, observing, listening at all those practices and learning so much from the Sean Andersons and Lee Cookers and Geno Stones and Anthony Richards and I can go on and on and on. Brandon Dominic, you know, guys who influenced him. And then obviously his time came. And he was a ninth grader on the team that made it to Hershey, 21-22 team. And, you know, it was tough. You know, I hung silver on his neck on 4 different occasions. So I never got the opportunity to hang gold on his neck. And we worked really hard. I was fortunate to be able to coach my son here, and I thought he handled being my son really well. And that was important to me too. I think the community embraced him, whereas in a lot of places, sometimes being a coach's son can be really difficult. You know, he met the standard. I was proud of him for that.
You know, it took me working with him to realize that it wasn't even about basketball. It was about making sure that we are taking these young adults and turning them into good contributors of society. He has single-handedly changed the trajectory of so many student athletes' lives. And in the meantime of doing all that, he happened to build a successful basketball program because he has expectations and he models them in how he behaves, how he carries himself, and the commitment that he has for the program. Everything that he does is to ensure that he is advancing student athletes to be the best version of themselves. If it happens to be on the basketball court, the football field, the baseball field, whatever it may be, his concern is, are you the best version of yourself? And if you're not, how do we get you there? If you happen to be successful in that sport, that's great. But his goal is to produce the best, and he does male sports, so I'm gonna use it in this reference, good men, good husbands, good fathers, just good people contributing to society. And he likes the consistency across the board, because if you're going to have a successful program, it needs to be consistent across the board. Be successful in every sport that you play, and that requires all the coaches to be on the same page.
It's an honor to be here at Newcastle. When you talk Newcastle athletics, I believe that it's one that's very well respected throughout the state of Pennsylvania. So to be a part of that and to be an athletic director here is quite an honor. It's something that, you know, I don't take lightly and I take a lot of pride in. You know, our sports here in Newcastle are important, not only here in the school district, but like we talked about, the entire community.
For me, my biggest personal philosophy is to teach habits, to change habits. Typically, you have to change habits. And that's a hard thing to do, but it's so important. Your habits are who you are. How successful you're going to be based on your habits. So we really focus on the little things. We major on the minors, from the small stuff onto the biggest stuff. It all matters. By doing that, you get kids thinking the second that they walk into the gym that there's something I'm supposed to be doing. And if they can create that habit when they're on the floor, they're going to do the exact same thing. What am I supposed to be doing right now when this guy cuts here, or when I'm supposed to be setting this down screen, or I'm supposed to be boxing out here, or when I'm supposed to be sprinting back in transition? You're trying to create habits and kind of mold their thinking and their mind a certain way that I got a job to do and there's people counting on me, so I got to do it well.
It comes down to one word: discipline. And they teach you that, and they also teach you the commitment to a team. If you're not giving your best, you're not just giving your best to yourself, but to the rest of your team. And if you fall shy, you not only cheat yourself, but you cheat your teammates that are counting on you.
I want to win in everything here. I don't want to just win in basketball. I want these kids to learn how to win in everything. So it's a big part of who they are. And then when they leave, they can feel like that I can do anything. You know, I did it in multiple sports. This year, they won the conference in football. We've won the section in basketball. That's really hard to do. Same kids, same exact kids. And they did it through hard work, being determined and committed, and being together. The situation here in Newcastle in terms of community, school, administrative support, kids who care, it's pretty perfect.